All right, y'all. Another one of the Democrat myths have been busted. And wait till you see how they're trying to cope and trying to shift the narrative now. Now, we know that since Trump came into office, all they've been talking about is Epstein. Epstein, that's all he want. Release this and release that. Oh, they're hiding something. He's all on it. Even though we know that he did know the man, just like Epstein knew a bunch of powerful people. And in this video, I'm going to show you not just what we know about Bill Clinton. Wait till you see who you're going to hear from and whose wife speaks up about the fact that her husband was ensnared with him and got caught up in one of the traps. And wait till you find out what billionaire even had people working for him in their home that had all types of crazy images and videos with young people. It's going to blow your mind. So let's get off into it. Stick with me on this one. Now, as you see, it says Alex Acosta cleared Trump of wrongdoing in the Epstein case, GOP say. Now, Alex Acosta, he was the prosecutor in the case against Epstein. All right. And he was the one that they ended up giving Epstein 1 year, like a year and a day, where he had to go to prison. And they was asking him, he was brought in by the House Oversight Committee. And you know, on the House Oversight Committee, you got Democrats and you've got Republicans. Jamie Comer is the chairman, but then you got Robert Garcia, who is the co-chair. Garcia is the left-wing radical gay Hispanic guy out of California. And so they bring Alex Acosta in because they want to hammer him home under oath about A, how did Epstein get such a sweetheart deal? And then B, where was Trump at? What did Trump do? So Acosta, let me go through the article real quick and then wait till you see these video clips. So Alex Acosta cleared Trump of wrongdoing in the Epstein case, GOP says. Republicans on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee took a victory lap Friday after releasing a transcript of their recent interview with former U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta regarding Jeffrey Epstein, saying it provides evidence President Donald Trump was not involved in the case against the late convicted offender. Acosta never talked to Trump about Epstein, the Republican Party majority of the Oversight Committee said in a post on X, attaching a screenshot of Acosta's interview from September. Not in person, not on the phone, not over email. At one point in the exchange between lawmakers and Acosta, who appeared before the committee as part of its ongoing investigation into the case, Oversight Committee ranking member Robert Garcia, the Democrat out of California, asked, so you never, the entire time you were U.S. attorney, you never spoke once to Donald Trump? Acosta replied, according to the interview transcript, the entire time, let me be more clear. I did not speak with President Trump, with Donald Trump, before I was considered for Secretary of Labor. Asked by another Democrat whether Trump was named in any document in the Epstein case, Acosta said he did not recall any such instance. Oversight Democrats, however, had a starkly different takeaway from Acosta's interview with Sarah Guerrero, a Democratic spokesperson, arguing his remarks suggested a lack of contrition for his part in the case. The transcripts of Alex Acosta's interview confirm what we've known all along. He has no remorse for his mishandling of the Epstein case, Guerrero said in a statement. Because of the deal Alex Acosta gave Epstein, he was able to continue taking advantage and hurting young ladies for another decade. No matter how House Republicans try to spin this, Oversight Democrats will keep pushing for the truth. Acosta, in his capacity as U.S. attorney, oversaw the deal between the federal government and Epstein that many have argued allowed the financier to continue to victimize women for years. Acosta resigned from his post as labor secretary in the first Trump administration amid renewed scrutiny of the case. He told congressional investigators last month that the decision to resign was his choice and not by the urging of the White House. The panel has been probing the case for months after a subcommittee in July compelled the full committee chair, Rep. James Comer, to subpoena the Justice Department for documents. Epstein's estate has turned over materials to congressional investigators, including the so-called birthday book that included a note allegedly written by Trump for Epperlater. Now, this article is from Politico. And if you know anything about the outlets, then you know Politico is a left-wing radical propaganda arm of the Democrats. Now, if you notice what the oversight spokeswoman, Sarah Guerrero, said, she said, let me go back to it. She said, it confirms what we've known all along. He had no remorse for his mishandling of the case. So now the narrative is shifted because now they got what they want. They've been trying to find if Trump was in it. And now under oath, the federal prosecuting attorney said, no, Trump wasn't in it, never spoke to the man, and there was nothing that he could recall that had him involved in it. So now the Democrats are shifting the narrative, but let me tell you why. Because also what has come out, because they did a document dump this past Friday on October the 16th. They dropped the documents out. And inside of these documents, or should I say the 17th, inside of these documents, it revealed some exposing information, but not on who the Democrats wanted. As a matter of fact, their persistence is going to hurt their team, and I'm here for it. So let's get off into what's really going on. So first off, who's helping all of these Democrat-led charges to get this information? It's Thomas Massie. Now, I know there's some people say, oh, I like Massie because he says that we shouldn't do income taxes. And he says, yeah, but he votes with the Democrats a lot of the times. And you know why? Because he doesn't like Donald Trump. You want to know why? Because Mitch McConnell and President Trump don't get along. And remember, Massie is a Kentuckian. Guess who else doesn't get along with President Trump? Rand Paul. Guess what state he represents? Kentucky. So you got a Kentucky congressman and 2 Kentucky senators that dislike President Trump. And so they're helping Democrats spearhead this smear campaign against the president. And so I've been on to Thomas Massie for a couple years now. He is a rhino in the truest form, just like Rand. But what they do is they say things that they know the diehard libertarians love. And they say things that conservatives love. But behind closed doors, they are rhinos. Any chance they get, they'll stick it to America just to try to stick it to Trump. And Massie is one of the worst of them. As a matter of fact, President Trump knows that Massie's been doing this. Check out what the president had to say about it. President Trump said, whatever happened to Senator Rand Paul, he was never great, but he went really bad. Got him elected twice in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, but he just never votes positively for the Republican Party. He's a nasty little guy, much like Congressman Thomas Massie, aka Rand Paul Jr., also of Kentucky, which I won 3 times in massive landslides. A sick wacko who refuses to vote for our great Republican Party, MAGA or American First. It's really weird. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app or for a super chat. You hitting that like button, it helps other people find out about the video, and that's great. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're already subscribed or subscribing now, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube has issues on getting out notifications, but when you select all, YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos. So all of those that say, oh, I support Massie, I support him, that's fine. But you got to know he is a freaking rhino and always has been. Just peel back the layers of the talk and look at the actions. So now check this out, because in the Democrats' effort, they want to expose Trump with these files. The videos I'm about to show you is going to expose and bring down the people that the Democrats revere. Check out this first clip from CNN.
New details this morning. Hundreds of new pages have been unsealed in a lawsuit connected to convicted Jeffrey Epstein. The victim alleges that former President Clinton pressured Vanity Fair not to run a story on Epstein. The pages also shed new light on how Epstein's victims were recruited and what happened to them. CNN's Gene Cesaris joins us now. And Gene, we're talking about 900 pages here, so there's a lot to go through. What new details have come out?
Well, they came out last night, combing through them. And, this all stems from a 2015 civil suit brought by Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell. And Virginia Giuffre had wanted her story to come out. She wanted a book. And so she became very close with a reporter out of Britain. And this reporter was encouraging her to go to the Vanity Fair magazine, to have them do an article on it. And here is what, in a newly undisclosed email from 2011, here's what Virginia Giuffre says. She says, considering that B. Clinton walked into VF, Vanity Fair, and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about his good friend, J.E., Jeffrey Epstein, so she didn't want to do it.
Wow. So that's just one. I just wanted to set the tone for you so you see. Because how often do we hear the Democrats talking about Bill Clinton reaching out to Vanity Fair and stopping a story on his buddy? Now, remember the name Vanity Fair, because they're going to come back up in this video here in a little bit. Now, with that being said, now, after the Democrats came out of that closed door Oversight Committee session where the prosecuting attorney said that President Trump had nothing to do with it, listen to how they switched the narrative now. Listen to what their focus is now.
Circumstances of this 13-month sentence was a joke. I mean, it's a complete and utter joke. He continued to abuse and rape so many other women after that. And the other notable piece in all of this is through some of the documents that we have been able to get from the Department of Justice through the Oversight Committee subpoena demonstrate that so many of these rich and powerful men, whether it be Elon Musk, Stephen Thiel, Steve Bannon, Peter Thiel, I apologize, Steve Bannon, and others, even after Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted predator and trafficker and still continued to meet with him, to want to visit Epstein Island to engage with him. And so the cover up is just so extreme. And at this point, there is no excuse for the Trump White House continuing to cover this up. And partial transparency is no longer acceptable. We need the full files immediately.
So they keep saying this full files. And what it is, they released flight laws that show Bill Clinton flew 26 times to the, not just flew, to the island. Not only that, he visited his home multiple times, and Epstein even visited the White House 12 times when Bill Clinton was there. But they keep wanting to make it, first they want to make it about Trump, but you see now their objective, they want to make this federal prosecutor, they're going to smear him. And they want to shift the narrative because Bill Clinton is just one name. You see how they name Steve Bannon and Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. These folks are powerful men. And we know that Epstein was in those circles because he fronted as a financier. And so when you're working with that much money, regardless on what you're doing, you're going to rub shoulders with different people. But he didn't just rub shoulders with Trump and He rubbed shoulders with Elon Musk. There's nothing in the transcript or in the document that say Musk did anything, Steve Bannon did anything, or Peter Thiel did anything. The Democrats keep throwing those names out to avoid the names that really are accused of doing actual things. That's why they throw out Elon Musk. They know Elon Musk wasn't connected to anything nefarious with him or Steve Bannon. But you know who is? Wait till I show you. I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Chapter. And here's why. When my mom hit 65 years old, I watched her get bombarded with mailers, cold calls, and all these confusing ads about Medicare. And every single company pretended like they wanted to help her, but really they were just trying to sell her stuff. It seemed like the game was rigged and she was not supposed to win at all. And that's why I'm so excited to share information about Chapter with all of you. Now, who Chapter is? Chapter is a free Medicare advisory service that compares Medicare plans available, and they give you real, unbiased guidance. Chapter is completely independent and always puts customers first. Their whole focus is all about making sure that their customers, the seniors, get the right Medicare plan. And it's clear that they're making a real difference in the lives of seniors. So if you want real, unbiased help with Medicare, give Chapter a call at 402-527-1253. You'll talk to a real person who will help you figure out exactly which plan is right for you and has saved the average senior $1,000 a year. So I'm going to put the number here on the screen for you to be able to contact, or if you visit the website, go to askchapter.org/realpolitics. Now, right here, we have got Bill Gates' wife, Melinda Gates. Now, how many of y'all knew that Bill Gates not only knew Epstein, was a best friend, a close friend of his, hung out with him, was at the house, and even was blackmailed by him? Check this out of Melinda Gates. I'm going to let her talk. This clip is a little long, so just check it out. You don't want to miss this.
It's not one thing, it was many things, but I did not like that he'd had.
Oh, I'm going to stop this. This is also Vanity Fair. This is her Vanity Fair interview with Gayle King. So remember I said Vanity Fair will come back up. It's here.
Meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
Melinda French Gates opens up following her and Bill's divorce and the role Jeffrey Epstein played in their split. The power couple revealed last year that they ended their 27-year marriage.
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
That's Melinda sitting down with CBS Morning's Gayle King on Thursday, her first wide-ranging interview since the split announcement in May.
Divorce is a painful process, even when it's what both parties want. It still is a very painful, personal decision.
It wasn't one moment or one specific thing that happened. There just came a point in time where there was enough there that I realized it just wasn't healthy, and I couldn't trust what we had.
Among those contributing factors, Bill's connection to convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein. The disgraced financier died in jail in 2019 while awaiting trial for trafficking charges.
You know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein.
It's not one thing, it was many things, but I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. No.
And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him.
Melinda admits she met Epstein and doesn't mince words about her first impression.
I wanted to see who this man was.
Now I have to pause it because this image here, I'm just going to take it back a little bit. I promise I'll let it go back up. This right here, that's Alan Dershowitz, the Democrat superpower attorney, Alan Dershowitz, who now has become a supporter of Trump all of a sudden since he's in the mix with the Epstein thing. But let me let it go back.
And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It was awful.
In a statement to CBS News, Bill calls meeting with Epstein, quote, a mistake that I regret deeply. He adds it was a substantial error in judgment.
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
Melinda and Bill's divorce was finalized in August of last year.
First of all, I think, I want to say that on the day I got married, I never thought I would end up being divorced. And, unfortunately, I felt like I needed to take a different path, but I didn't have any sense of how big of news it would be. You can't anticipate something like that.
The couple shares 3 children together, and both remain involved with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Definitely a very sad milestone.
In his first interview following the divorce in August, Bill explained the split wouldn't affect their dedication towards giving back.
And Melinda's a great person, and that partnership that we had coming to an end is a source of great personal sadness. We are communicating and working at the foundation, and so that partnership we're going to try and continue.
Okay, so now you just heard out of her own mouth, okay, that it was the meetings and the business dealings and the what made her want to vomit. She had nightmares, right? Now, the Democrats, why are no Democrats talking about Bill Gates at all? Have you ever even heard them bring up Bill Gates in it? Or the fact that there was a 16-year-old tennis player from, I think it was Sweden or Australia, allegedly, who Epstein caught Bill Gates with because he connected him and blackmailed the man. And his wife got wind of it, and it was a done deal. Okay, so now that was her. Let's listen to what Bill has to say about the situation, because it's his wife. And, he said that that's the only thing that he regrets. Let's hear from Bill himself.
Now, one of the issues that's dogged you is that of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you regret the relationship that you maintained with him against Melinda's advice and wishes?
Oh, I've said that you're going way back in time, but yeah,
New audience.
I will say for the, over 100th time, yeah, I shouldn't have had dinners with him.
Dinners. You hear what he said?
Epstein had a way of compromising people. Is that what Melinda was warning you about?
No. I mean, no, I had dinner with him, and that's all.
And that you regret the relationship, the acquaintance?
That I had dinner with him.
And the relationship between the foundation and Epstein?
There never was any relationship of any kind.
You see how uncomfortable he got when she brought that up? And he's talking about, oh, you're going way back, way back. This all came out in the 2000s. This ain't like the 60s or 70s or before he started Microsoft. And then he even lied and said, well, yeah, I had dinner with him. Dude, your wife is on TV in an interview with Gayle King saying y'all had meetings. He had been to the house. Your wife had met him. Y'all hung out. And remember the 16-year-old alleged tennis player? You see how quick he was willing to lie? And this is the man who they put in charge of the jabs going in people's bodies. Since when did this Microsoft brainiac go from that to being like the czar on health? Also, he did that TED Talk. And if you've never seen the clip where Bill Gates is on record at a TED Talk stating that he could help reduce the population by as much as 9 or 10% through vaccines and through other healthcare vehicles.
The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Well, common sense would tell you if you have a man standing in front of you saying he's going to reduce the world's population by 10 or 15% using vaccines, what does that mean to you?
So how else would you reduce the population? Through jabs, unless there was something wrong with him, right? This man is a double talker and you just heard him lie, but that's not it. Check out this report about one of Bill Gates' employees and engineers at a house. Check this out.
And tonight he's charged with having and trading a massive amount of child pornography. KRO 7's Gary Horker is live near the Gates compound in Medina. And Gary, this man worked as an engineer for the family.
That's what SPD intelligence found out, Steve. They found out that the man actually worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates mansion on the grounds of their sprawling 66,000 square foot estate, and that's where they found him and questioned him last March. The estate is behind us, right on the lakefront here, but this is a few blocks away, and it's as close as their security will allow us to get. But according to King County prosecutors, 51-year-old Rick Allen Jones was questioned by detectives about images of child that were sent from Jones's home computer. Now, none of this alleged crime actually happened at the Gates mansion, but it was here that Rick Allen Jones admitted to detectives he collected child for about 10 years, sending images through his Gmail account. Now, while Jones was talking to detectives at the Gates estate, 3 more SPD detectives had a search warrant to search Jones's Ballard apartment. There, they say they found more than 6,000 images of graphic child porn, 133 of which were children identified by police. We tried Jones's apartment for comment. We got no response. We also reached out to Bill and Melinda Gates' foundation, and we did not hear back. So, in fact, we do not know if he's been fired by the Gates' family. Another mystery into this is why Jones was never jailed or charged by these allegations up until now. The investigation started here at the Gates Foundation, the Gates Mansion, in March, and the criminal complaint, which I have right here, says he has to show up in court and face a judge in the coming days. So we're going to keep track of this. We're digging into the charges. We'll keep you posted on the latest. Live from the lakefront in Medina tonight, I'm Gary Horker, Kyra 7 Eyewitness News.
It gets deep, don't it? But it gets even deeper. So the Democrats running around, and that's why they keep evoking Trump's name. But guess what else? Remember on the videos that I put out previously, I showed that Epstein literally has a picture of President Clinton in his home that he shows people when people come by, that he would show people as his way of like showing off of the type of power that he's got. But that's not the only president that he had up on his wall. This is a real oil painting that he has in his New York mansion that Epstein had hanging up in his New York mansion, where all these powerful people would come through. And that's a picture of a former president in a blue dress and heels, the alleged same type of blue dress that Lewinsky wore. Okay, that's what makes it so funny. But that's not it. There's another oil painting that he had up in his home, one of George W. Bush. And it got him playing with paper airplanes and with little building blocks. This is another oil painting that he has up in his mansion in New York. Now, how does a financier get to paint and have these disrespectful, childlike photos or feminine photos of former presidents? And at the time, George Bush may have been in office at the time that he did that one, and Clinton just left office in 2000. So how is it that this man has those up in the walls, and these gentlemen know it? And they can't say, hey, take it down for everybody to see. And they say that there's a deeper meaning behind each one of these photos. But you don't hear anybody talking about W. Nobody brings up W. Now, check out this this video of this nut job and this leftist. And this is how leftists think, who just believe. Now, this video here was released on the 11th, October the 11th, before the document dump and before the release of the testimony, of the transcript from the testimony with Alex Acosta, the prosecutor on the case. So now that that's come out, you don't hear it on the media. You don't see it anywhere because it doesn't fit their narrative. But check out this whack job.
You're at the ICE facility here in Portland, Oregon. What brings you out?
Well, lots of issues. I think there's so many we can't even count them.
Give me a few.
Let's see. The president is closing down the government because he doesn't want the Epstein files out. And he's a pedophile. He's already an adjudicated user. 26 other people accused. So President, hard to respect. So let's just keep the government closed so nobody knows what's happening.
What about the Epstein files? How come Biden didn't release them?
I think they assumed the DOJ would be on it.
Because they could have buried Trump if they would have released those.
They should have.
So maybe Trump's not on him.
Oh, he's on him. The girls are going to talk.
The girls are going to talk?
They're going to talk. Leave it to the women. It's also upset about Portland because of what happened in 2020.
Describe to me what it's like living in Portland.
Big, fat, giant orange baby. I love it. I've been here all my life. I'm a 4th generation Oregonian. I have a 5th generation daughter and a 6th generation grandson. I'm a local physician.
Oh, my God. That is Portland, Oregon. So I just wanted to bring y'all this great news because, again, the Democrats have tried and tried and tried. This is just not their era. They are failing at everything, and they're not going to put this up on the media. They're not going to make it publicly known. That's why we got to get the information out. The federal prosecutor in the Epstein case has testified before the Oversight Committee in Congress with Republicans and Democrats, answered all of their questions, and cleared President Trump. Now, they didn't bring up Bill Clinton. They're not bringing up Bill Gates. Wonder why not? And that's just the tip of the spear. So let's see where they shift the focus, because now they're going to try to attack this prosecutor because he cleared Trump. Oh, they hate this man now. And he clearly said that the only reason Epstein only got 1 year is because the evidence they had was weak. The girls was unwilling to testify. You know, like a lot of women, they don't want to be battered and bruised. And the ones that were willing to speak, their story kept changing. And they said on cross-examination, they would have got destroyed. And so rather than let him walk away without any punishment, they had to go for what they could stick him with and they could prove. And he got 1 year and a day. And that's nowhere near enough. We know that he should have been buried under it. But when you have no evidence, no substantial evidence, and witnesses aren't willing to testify, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I do know that piece of trash is gone. President Trump is clear, and the Democrats look insane. So, hey, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about it. If you haven't already hit that like button, let me tell you, too, I want to thank you from the top and bottom of my heart if you stayed and you watched to this point. I really appreciate you. And like I said, if you haven't already hit that like button, if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.